My name is Jerry Wise, and I'm the director for the Center of Self-Differentiation in Carmel, Indiana, on the north side of Indianapolis in Indiana. I work with clients in my office and via the internet. This video is entitled Narcissism: Stop the Flying Monkeys. For those of you familiar with narcissistic articles and books, you will find in there, in the world of narcissistic abuse and narcissistic triangles and relationships, there's a common technique the narcissist, and particularly the malignant narcissist, uses to get what they want. To get what they want to shape, to force, to mold, to pressure, and to manipulate others into doing their bidding. Just like the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, she used her flying monkeys to fulfill her will and to try to get rid of Dorothy, or to bring Dorothy to heal, to bring Dorothy into her power, to also get from Dorothy what she wanted to get from her. She sent out her flying monkeys, which affected her and Dorothy and the people around her. And the same dynamic occurs in narcissistic families and narcissistic relationships today. And the same type of thing happens. Many types of people use flying monkeys. And there's a whole continuum along the line to somewhat benign use of malignant monkeys, or of flying monkeys, to very malignant use of flying monkeys. Many people use flying monkeys, not just narcissists. Bipolar folks use flying monkeys. Emotionally immature, the avoidant folks use flying monkeys. The angry and the passive-aggressive use flying monkeys. Very, very needy people use flying monkeys to get their needs met through other people and using other people. An example of flying monkeys would be this. Janet has a narcissistic sister who is very immature, very narcissistic. Whenever Janet confronts her sister, she just becomes very angry, defensive, and blaming, even lying, melodramatic. And this creates a real problem in the family. And so their communication is broken down for a while. But then Janet's sister will use other people in the family to get to Janet, to either try to convince her one way or another, or to pull her back into the relationship, or to try to convince Janet that she's been wrong and insensitive and unloving. And those are the flying monkeys that Janet's sister will use to get Janet to change. There are two types of flying monkeys. There's the willing, complicit partners as flying monkeys, the willing flying monkeys, and then there's the well-meaning duped flying monkeys. So at times we use different kind of approaches for different types of flying monkeys. First of all, often flying monkeys have their own agendas and their own hope-for rewards. In other words, pleasing the narcissist, or becoming the golden child because they resent the golden child who's being ousted at this point, and they'd like to take over that role of being the favored one in the family. Or flying monkeys may not have an agenda other than just to keep the peace. In other words, they may not totally agree with the narcissist, or they may think, oh, the narcissist is being unreasonable again, but I need to keep the peace, and let's just see if we can keep the, peace at all costs. And let's be compliant so we don't have conflict. The conflict avoider kind of flying monkeys. Both may violate boundaries. Both have not done the work to connect with you and deal with you directly outside the influence of the narcissist. For example, they don't ask you your side of the story to find the truth. They don't attempt to understand what your feelings are, or they may even feign or pretend to understand what your feelings are and to pretend to get your side of the story, only to have you do what the narcissist wants you to do or to be. Flying monkeys will act as friends, compatriots, caring, empathetic, and then betray us to the narcissist. The narcissist wants full control and full control of you. They want you to play your expected role in the family of origin, or at the workplace, or in the church, or in the marriage, or at home with the kids, any number of emotional systems. The narcissist wants full control of others. Narcissistic divorces can be full of flying monkeys who testify and create difficulties for the partner who's on the out. I've seen narcissistic fathers try to take custody from their caring mothers by using flying monkeys to make the mother seem crazy and unfit to have custody. Even the narcissistic parent knows he has many problems, but he still wants control of the kids and over his ex-wife. And that's the narcissistic power control. And they'll use, and unfortunately, if they have lots of money, they can pay for lots of flying monkeys. From attorneys to friends to families, they can influence other people to do their bidding. I just heard another example recently where a sibling was used as a flying monkey for a father or parents who are narcissistic. The scapegoated brother was asking his brother for a relationship which was separate from his parents, because the parents always were critical and abusive to this brother. And because of their inappropriate, malignant narcissistic behavior with his children and his wife, which were very well-founded. Instead of being willing to have a separate relationship with his brother, he was being used by their father as a flying monkey to tell the brother who's on the outs that he could not do that. He wanted the family to stay together and not get separated out into camps, was the reason he wanted to say that. But actually the brother who's connected with the father is in a camp. It's the narcissistic father's camp. But he's saying, I don't want to break us off into camps. All the brother was asking for was just a one-on-one relationship with his brother without the interference of his parents. The flying monkey brother knows his father is a narcissist, but cannot deal with his father's rejection if he were to have a separate relationship with his brother, and without mom and dad involved heavily and deeply in that relationship and knowing everything about it. The brother refused, hurting many people in the process, but keeping the narcissist as king of the hill. And it's so sad that the brother did not see that pattern. Malignant narcissists will use manipulation, coercion, money, inheritance, withdrawing their love, gifts, punishments, and deception to get their way. And when that doesn't work, the only thing left for the malignant narcissist to do is to send in the monkeys, to send the flying monkeys. Flying monkeys are the metastatic spread of the malignant narcissistic cancer or toxicity in the family. So how do we stop flying monkeys? I work with folks all the time to help them to reduce the impact of flying monkeys, to reduce the impact of flying monkeys on them, to get the flying monkeys to stop, etc. Expect you're going to have flying monkeys if there's narcissism in the mix. Anticipate them. Don't be fooled by a wolf in sheep's clothing. Stop the source of information to the narcissist through the flying monkeys. Stop providing that information, because that valuable intelligence that they're going out to get and bring back to the narcissist is used by the narcissist for control, manipulation, to lie about, so that they have a grain of truth in a great big lie. And so we stop that flow of information and we refuse to give that information to the flying monkey. The best vaccination against flying monkeys is self-differentiation, which I train and teach people. And you can see I have over 120 videos on YouTube, and many of them are on self-differentiation. So check out those videos. This process of learning to be self while staying connected to others is a powerful antidote and a powerful vaccination against flying monkeys and the narcissists. Talk about the process and not the content with the flying monkey. Cousin Mabel, and again, process versus content, and I use those terms often in helping and training people. Cousin Mabel calls out of the blue and asks you how you're doing and how you are getting along with your parents. Talk about the process and not the content of her question. You don't have to tell Cousin Mabel how you're feeling about your parents or anything about your relationship with your parents. Just avoid the subject and be ready to talk about other things. For example, Mabel calls and asks, hi, Auntie, and she asks that question of you, and you go, hi, Auntie, how's Uncle George? How has your heart been doing? Have you talked with Mom and Dad lately? What do they have to say to you? How have you guys been relating? Give no information to Mabel about your relationship with your mom and dad. Ask for info from her. Gosh, Auntie, you haven't called me in 8 months. This is also talking about the process of what's going on between you and Mabel, rather than the content. Gosh, Auntie, you haven't called me in 8 months. I wonder what prompted you to call today. And you just kind of stay confused and kind of inquiring. Content is how you feel about your parents. Content is expressing your pain or anger or frustration with your narcissistic mother with Aunt Mabel. Don't do that. Process is addressing and alluding to what is going on between you and Mabel, your narcissistic mom. You haven't called me in 8 months. That's curious, don't you think, Mabel, Aunt Mabel? Or asking Mabel what she's feeling toward your narcissistic mother, and is actually a process reversal. And we could talk more than that. If you work with me, I can help you with that. And actually, what they're asking you and what they want to know from you, you turn it around and ask them what about them and get the information from them. Often flying monkeys are not ready for that. They didn't expect you to ask them about that. Using a Wizard of Oz theme, I've come up with these tips dealing with flying monkeys. It is obvious to you and to the flying monkey what they're doing. If it's obvious to you and to the flying monkey what they're doing, send them back to the Wicked Witch of the West, or use the I only speak to wicked witches directly approach. I only speak to the narcissist. I don't speak to their minions. Doug, just tell Dad when he wants to accept and talk to me about my wife and kids or whatever. I'm always open, but I'm not going to have this discussion with you, Doug. Secondly, I don't speak monkey. I don't speak flying monkey. Gosh, Aunt Mabel, I don't know what you're talking about or what you're asking me or what you mean. How's my relationship with my mom and dad? That's kind of an odd question. Well, Jerry, I heard from your mother that you and she had a falling out. I still don't know what you're talking about, nor do I know what this means or what you want from me. Again, my assumptions are my relationship with my narcissistic mother is between me and her, not me and her and Aunt Mabel. So I very definitely can be confused about why she's asking and what the problem is. I don't even know what the problem is. Just because Mom and I have a falling out doesn't mean it involves Aunt Mabel in any way. So I don't know what you mean. What's going on between me and my mom? I'm confused. I don't speak flying monkey. Do you know you're a flying monkey? Aunt Mabel, you might have good intentions and you might have some concern about our family, but you and I don't have an intimate enough relationship between the two of us for me and you to talk about my relationship with my sister or my mother. So we should keep our conversation about what's going on between us and not others. I think mom's using you to get information. Are you aware of that, Aunt Mabel? Another approach is, how's the flying monkey life? And that's in which we empathize with the flying monkey. And I might respond, well, gosh, Doug, it must be difficult to have to do Dad's bidding and to keep him happy by coming to me for information. Is that really difficult for you? How's it feel to be a flying monkey? It must be really hard. And that's a shame. If you want more help with self-differentiation, and if you want more help with narcissistic families or narcissists who are in your life, or handling the flying monkeys, if you want to learn more about identifying and leading a narcissism-free life, contact me and we can set up a Skype, FaceTime, or phone session and work together to free you from the narcissists in your life. My contact information is on the screen. I hope that you will join our YouTube channel, which are all free videos on YouTube. If you want more resources or a complete listing of over my 120 videos free on YouTube, contact me via email. Use my email address, and I will send them to you free. I want to thank you very much for watching today, and have a great day.